nuggets, headlines and fun, true crime tales and a wild rerun. Bits of news to brighten your day in the latest, wackiest, pettiest expressway. Scandals, gators, space coast too, crimes that baffle and headlines askew. When the world gets dark, we bring the cheer. Newsy nuggets, the good, the grim, the weird is here.
Hey guys, it's Mo, and it's early in the morning, but I wanted to get some newsy nuggets in. So we have an update on the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively situation, and it looks like Justin Baldoni has, well, hit a little bit of a snag. And I've looked at some of this. I haven't gotten into it deeply, but it definitely seems like Blake Lively is a pain in the behind to work with, and her husband is, well, a dill hole. Justin Baldoni is facing a major setback in his legal war against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Judge Louis J. Linman granted a motion to dismiss Baldoni's, who is 41, and Wayfair Party's $400 million lawsuit against Lively, 37, and Reynolds, 48, that alleged extortion defamation on Monday, the Post can confirm. Now, the judge also dismissed Baldoni's $250 million defamation lawsuit against the New York Times. But Judge Linman did note that Baldoni's legal team can still amend claims for a breach of implied covenant and tortious interference with the contract. The deadline to do so is June 23rd. And so implied covenant, I'm not quite sure of. Not a lawyer as per, all the things. But tortious interference means that, he was given a job. He had basically a claim to the money that he worked out, and she basically was getting in the middle of him being able to do his job that he was contracted out for. She blocked him from money, blocked him from his own premiere, blocked him from a lot of things. She essentially took over his movie. If you look at, just the timeline, what happened, how the studio reacted. Full disclosure, I've never seen the movie, especially after the author. And let's be real, I read, romance novels. I've never got into the particular author that wrote, whatever this train wreck of a movie was. But when she had a coloring book to promote it, and the story is about the complex, generational curse of DV, it was off tone. The fact that she didn't stand with Justin Baldoni again when he was one that really wanted to put this forward. And the problem here is, and I do think that there might be recourse for this. I'm not a legalologist, but there might be recourse because she's so screwed with his ability to make money, and that works. But the judge didn't see, all of the other claims that his lawyers made. The Wayfair parties have not alleged that Lively is responsible for any statements other than the statements in her CRD complaint, which are privileged, Judge Linman wrote in an opinion and order filing obtained by the Post. The Wayfair parties have alleged that Reynolds and publicist Leslie Sloan made additional statements accusing Baldoni of sexual misconduct, and the Times made additional statements accusing Wayfair parties of engaging in a smear campaign, Judge Linman continued. But the Wayfair parties have not alleged that Reynolds, Sloan's, or the Times would have seriously doubted those statements were true based on the information available for them as required for them to be liable under defamation under applicable law. So it's also the point that, these people had no idea that these claims were false. So there's a difference between knowingly publishing something that is completely false and getting something wrong or having, anonymous sources who are incorrect. I think it's a loophole, but it is one that we have to live under. Now, Lively's lawyers, Ezra Hudson and Mike Galip, told the Post in a statement, today's opinion is a total victory and complete vindication for Blake Lively, along with those that Justin Baldoni and the Wayfair parties dragged into their retaliatory lawsuit, including Ryan Reynolds, Leslie Sloan, and the New York Times. As we have said from day one, this $400 million lawsuit was a sham, and the court saw right through it. Now, the Post did reach out to Justin Baldoni's attorney for comment. In December, Lively filed a lawsuit that alleged that Baldoni had, you know, been really unprofessional and gross to her on the set of It Ends With Us, which Baldoni also directed. Now, she accused him of a coordinated effort to destroy her reputation after the film was released. No, Blake, this movie, again, this movie is about some serious subject matters. DV, generational cycles of abuse, you know, and you try to use it to hawk your alcoholic beverages and your hair supplies. You didn't take it seriously. You dressed up in flowery stuff, and instead of understanding that her being your character being a florist is not the same as, you know, it just, she did this to herself. If you look at the interviews that she did trying to promote It Ends With Us, she was obnoxious. She didn't, you know, give real weight to the subject matter, but neither did the author. Again, they were just really upbeat. This is very serious subject matter to me, and a lot of people were put off by her own attitude, her own behavior. So the fact that, you know, this was a smear campaign, in my opinion, no. You just acted like a stuck-up, entitled, and clueless Hollywood person and got called out by people who don't appreciate you kind of taking the mickey out of serious subjects like DV and talking about your ridiculous hair products and, you know, alcoholic beverages. So there was no smear campaign that I could see, but I didn't get too deep into this. Maybe Justin Baldoni had a billion sock accounts and they were all like, Blake Lively sucks. I don't know. As I see this, these are two Hollywood people fighting with each other, and as long as they leave it to legal stuff, go with God. Now, Baldoni then denied the allegations. So after Blake Lively sued, he denied the allegations and countersued Lively and Reynolds and also their publicist Leslie Sloan for $400 million over alleged defamation and extortion, which they too denied. Now, in addition, Baldoni sued the New York Times for $250 million for alleged libel and false light investigation or invasion of privacy over the newspaper's December 21st article on Lively's SH allegations. Now, the legal battle took a turn in Lively's favor last week when journalist James Vikutka came forward and walked back his claims, which were included in Baldoni's lawsuit, that Sloan said Lively was, you know, harassed by Baldoni. Now, according to People, Vituska on Thursday signed a signed declaration and insisted that Sloan never told me that Miss Lively was harassed or SA'd by Justin Baldoni or anyone else. In those text messages, my use of the phrase SA was a mistake. I regret this error, sorry. He said, this phrase was not intended to reference any conversation that I had with, excuse me, with Leslie Sloan. Now, Lively also attempted to withdraw her intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress claims against Baldoni last week after his legal team sought to obtain her medical records. The A Simple Favor star's lawyer described the legal move as a routine part of litigation and claimed that Baldoni's team was using the decision as a press stunt. Now, the trial is still set to go on for March 2026. I imagine there's going to be a lot more. This discovery thus far has been very enlightening about how Blake Lively seems to operate. And again, I've watched a couple videos, but it seemed like there was a coordinated effort going in to kind of strong arm her way into making critical decisions, changing her wardrobe into something that her character Lily couldn't have afforded as a florist, but she wanted to have, name brandy stuff. So going over budget on that, then skipping a lot of things, like the intimacy coordinator, meeting and all of that. So I will be interested to see what the trial brings out, but I'm going to be honest with you. It's not going to affect my daily life. I'm not going to, start a fan club for either of these people, but it will be a fun thing to watch, and I'm sure we're going to see more fireworks, but this is the update for now. So I hope you enjoyed that, and, Hollywood's gonna Hollywood. Bye, you guys.